Agus ceann comhairle agus aire fáilte inmh. I very much welcome the recent publication of the Roadmap for Living Alongside COVID-19, which was published 2 weeks ago. COVID-19 has placed huge demands on every one of us as individuals, parents, families, workers and indeed business owners. The overall aim of this plan is to keep schools, creches and businesses open in many of these scenarios as possible. I know that the Government prioritised schools remaining open. We are far too well aware that children depend crucially on education and learning, and I would like to recognise the huge amount of work undertaken to make this possible. I know that the reopening of international travel formed a key part of this plan. The aviation industry is one of the most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. All airlines have suffered a severe depletion of revenue and are now facing significant financial challenges. I recently attended a briefing at Cork Airport where I was told the passenger numbers at Cork Airport have declined by 95% due to COVID-19. The impact of COVID-19 on Cork Airport is expected to see the loss of over 2 million passengers this year and more than 23 million in lost revenues by the year end. Ireland's approach to international travel has sought to protect public health. This has certainly been the correct approach in the earlier phases of the pandemic, but it is now time to find a reasonable balance that combines public health requirements with the requirements of a functioning economy. The Task Force for Aviation Recovery published their final report recently, and the report contains several recommendations relating to the provision of further support to the industry. The European Commission has also published a proposal to promote a common approach to travel restrictions and movement within the EU. The Minister has previously stated that the work is required to develop these recommendations into effective interventions and that this work is well underway. I would ask the Minister and his department to make this an urgent priority and would appreciate an update or general time frame as to when these interventions will be in place. The importance of Cork Airport to our economy and the region cannot be underestimated, and I want to ensure that Cork Airport's interests are at the forefront of this Government's agenda. On a totally different topic, Minister, I would just like to talk about regarding messaging. I would like to compliment yourself and the department in recent months in tackling, what has been, a national crisis. I understand the key messaging, regarding the COVID tracker app and various, tools that you have at your dispensation. I would urge that we would look at other countries in Europe, such as Belgium, France, Germany, even countries in Asia such as India, who have, to complement our COVID tracker app, a specific messaging service, be it through WhatsApp or be it through mobile providers. I honestly think that if specific messaging was, into people's individual mobile phones every day or every couple of days with specific problem areas highlighted with specific messaging around identified cases and so on, I think that would be hugely beneficial. And just the third point I'd like to make, Minister, is regarding the LEA breakdown and the figures that are, available on the Health Protection Surveillance Centre website. I know that many of these, the data on this website is updated every Thursday, so we're waiting the data to be uploaded later today. But just based on last week's figures, I suppose every week, there's a kind of a bit of chaos. People are asking, are we going into lockdown? Is the city, in the case of Cork, is the city or the county going into lockdown or both? And I suppose I point people towards the HPSC website. I point them to look at their LEA, but I would just urge the Minister, a county the size of Cork, it equates to the size of 4 or 5 counties, and I think that government needs to seriously consider that in future area-specific lockdowns, be it urban or be it LEA. I think it needs to be looked at. I think it's particularly in counties the size of Cork, so just appreciate if the Minister would take that into consideration. Thank you.